In this video, we'll see the type of critical reasoning questions that you will see in GRE, GMAT, as well as in LSAT. So this session will be useful for aspirants who are taking these tests. Before we get into the critical reasoning questions, we must know what an argument is. Argument is not just arguing with others. There is one meaning of what an argument is. But in the logical parlance, argument means you're making a conclusion using something as a basis. Okay, so that is called as an argument. A simple example would be, I like only doctors, therefore I like Sarah. So this will be an argument. Okay, I like only doctors, therefore I like Sarah. So the conclusion part is therefore I like Sarah. So what is the assumption that is required here? Sarah is a doctor. So I like only doctors, Sarah is a doctor, therefore I like Sarah. So this is an argument. Having understood what an argument is, we'll look into the types of critical reasoning questions. The first type of question is strengthening an argument. Okay, strengthening an argument is like the author makes a statement like this. I have seen two persons from the state of Montana. I find them to be extremely honest. So all the people from Montana must be honest. So that is his conclusion. So the question asks you, which of the following, if true, would strengthen the argument? So you need to find an option that supports the conclusion of the author. You scan through the options, there is an option which says that these two persons the author has seen, they typify the people of Montana, or they are representative of the people of Montana. If there is an option like that, it supports the conclusion of the author. Because whatever conclusions we can draw from these two people can be broadly applied to the other people in Montana, because they are representative. So that is going to strengthen the conclusion. So strengthening an argument is like you need to pick an option that supports this conclusion. Okay, that makes this conclusion sound valid. Okay, so that is strengthening an argument. The second type of question is weakening an argument. So here is weakening an argument. So we'll take the same example. The author says that I've seen two persons from Montana state. They are honest. So all the people from Montana should be this way. So that is his conclusion. So if the question is to weaken the argument, you need to pick an option that says that these people are not actually from the state of Montana. So that is going to weaken his conclusion. So in weakening an argument, you'll be picking an option that will break his conclusion, that will cast doubt on his reasoning, cast doubt on his conclusion. So that's what you do when the question asks you to weaken an argument. The next type of question is finding an assumption in an argument. So this is the third type of question. So assumption in an argument. We'll go again back to the same example, because that example is pretty simple and it captures the essence of the idea. I like only doctors, therefore I like Sarah. So the assumption that is required is Sarah is a doctor. Only if this is the assumption, then the conclusion, therefore I like Sarah, is correct, because his premise is, or the basis is, I like only doctors, okay, and Sarah is a doctor, so which is an assumption, therefore I like Sarah. So assumption leads to the conclusion. Okay, the best way to find whether something is an assumption or not is to reverse the assumption. Okay, we'll take this example. I like only doctors, therefore I like Sarah. I like only doctors, Sarah is a doctor, therefore I like Sarah. Now, if I reverse the assumption here, Sarah is not a doctor, therefore I like Sarah, which is the conclusion, might not be properly stemming from the assumption. Okay, so thereby that is the crucial piece that is required. Okay, so assumption leads to the conclusion. By reversing the assumption, and if it breaks the validity of the conclusion, then that is the assumption. The next type of question is finding an inference from an argument. So this is the fourth type. So finding an inference in an argument, or finding an inference from the argument. So we'll take this example. Inference is like what you derive from a set of statements. Okay, when A is equal to B. So look at this. When A is equal to B and B is equal to C, these are two statements that are already made. So from that you can conclude that A must also be equal to C. So that is the derivation here. So inference is what you derive from the set of statements that is already given in the argument. So that is called as the inference. Okay. So remember this. Inference is you're not considering anything external or anything outside of the argument. So whatever they have said, okay, you take that one, you take the other statement, and from those two you extrapolate, okay, or you deduce from it. So that is called as finding the inference in an argument. The next type of question is finding a flaw in an argument. Flaw means you're making a mistake. Okay, so this is the fifth type of finding the flaw in an argument. So argument can have mistakes. One of the mistakes is making a broader generalization. As we have already seen, like taking two persons and you're making a broad generalization about how a country's people would be based on just a very narrow sample size, like just two persons. Or you are mistaking two things which are concurrently happening to have some kind of causal effect, which means like A and B are happening simultaneously, but you assume that A is causing B or B is causing A. Okay, an example would be like a person says that I get a perfect score in math because before taking any math test, I go to an ice cream shop and consume ice cream. Okay, so that is a preceding event. Taking ice cream is a preceding event. Okay, but he assumes that that is the reason why he is able to get a perfect score in math. So this is again a kind of error. If you look at our another video, we would have explained the types of errors that are made in the critical reasoning. Okay, so here we are just dealing with the types of critical reasoning questions. So flaw is you need to find out what the flaws are, what the mistakes are in this argument, in the argument given. Okay, so that is the next type of question. So flaw in the argument is to find the mistakes. So the next type of question is completing the logical statement that is given in the question. Okay, so this is the sixth type of question. So you are asked to complete the logical statement. So a logical statement comes like this. The author will say that I have always believed that people who are persistent would be successful in life. Okay, because Anthony has always been persistent, I expect him to, there will be a line here which you need to fill. So going by the preceding part of the question, where the author says, I have always believed that people who are persistent would be successful in life, and because Anthony has been persistent, I expect him to be successful, because that is already established in the previous part. Okay, this is called as completing the statement. Okay, so looking at the previous part's logic, you are completing the next part. So that sort of question is called completing the logical statement. Last category of question is parallel reasoning. Call it as parallel reasoning. They might call it as analogous reasoning. They might call it as similar reasoning. So all mean the same. Okay. So the question will have a relation between things in a particular way. They would have related. You need to find the same relation in the options given. Okay. Like A and B and C are related in a particular way in the question, and they might ask you which of the options has the same kind of relation. Okay. So that is called as parallel reasoning. So in case A, B and C are associated in this manner, like C is causing A and B, and A and B are similar. Okay, you need to pick an option where the relationship is like C is causing A and B. Okay, maybe they may not be using the same notation like C is causing C, A and B. They might be something like D, E and F. D might be causing A, E and F, and E and F are similar. So this follows the same pattern that is there in the question. So this is called as parallel reasoning. Okay. So these are the different types of critical reasoning questions. To sum up, you have strengthening an argument where you need to strengthen the author's conclusion, weakening an argument where you have to weaken the author's conclusion. Okay, and the third type of question is finding an assumption in an argument. So assumption, is a critical piece that leads to the conclusion. If it does not lead to the conclusion, then it is not an assumption. So the fourth type of question is finding an inference in an argument. Inference is deriving from a set of statements. Okay, and whatever you derive is going beyond what is there in the text, then probably you're making a mistake. So that is called as inference. And next is finding a flaw. Flaw is like the mistake that is made. It can be, there are mistakes of various kinds, like making a broader generalization, or mistaking a correlation for a causation, mistaking a necessary condition for a sufficient condition. If you look at our other video, we'd have detailed it. Maybe you can check there. The next type of question is from completing the logical statement. So the author would have made a statement here. The first part, he would have defined the logic, and even the subsequent part will follow the same logic. So you need to complete it in that manner. So that is called as completing the logical statement. And the last category is finding the parallel reasoning. So a question will have a logic defined in a particular way, and you need to choose an option that has the same way of connecting things. Okay, so these are the types of critical reasoning questions. I hope this video was useful to you guys.